of a certain type of training. And I know many of us ladies, when we hear exercise, we think, oh gosh, this is a hard work, pain and all of that. But if you've ever felt too exhausted to even think about exercising during menopause, you are not imagining it. I go through that as well. And you're definitely not alone. I've worked with many women in this phase, exact phase, and here's the truth. Your energy isn't gone, it's just being used differently. In the next few minutes, I'll show you a few simple movements, starting with one most people overlook that can help you get it back without pushing your body too hard. So again, welcome again to the Healthy Reset. I'm Miss Maria Ness Joseph, and our episode is dealing with jump training, exercise, bone health, and the importance of doing this type of training during the pre or perimenopause, menopausal, and the postmenopausal phases in life, in our transition. So jump training has been found to increase bone density. And we all know, many of us know that many women during this stage in our lives, our bones get weak, and which it may decline up to about 20% in the first few years of menopause alone. Just think about it, 20% decrease in bone density in the first few years of the menopausal period. And why does this matter? Why is this important? Low bone density can lead to osteoporosis, which is a condition that silently weakens bones as we age. Now, this can significantly increase a woman's risk of falls. And I mean, many of us know some auntie or a parent or a close elderly relative that fell and injured their hips, and things just went south after that. Now, this can increase the chance of fracture and or a hindrance in your mobility. In a 2014 study, it was found that just 10 high-impact jumps, just 10, done twice per day over a 4-month time span, this study is ongoing actually, was found to help women between the ages of 25 and 50 to significantly increase their hip bone density. Furthermore, in that study, a systemic research reviewed of adult women from the ages of 58 to 79 who engage in that is called, that type of training, jump training, is called plyometric training, which found that jump training improve muscular health, bone density, and body composition and posture, as well as physical performance. So think about jumping, how children jump, how they do it, and how, they are strong, they are using the muscles. And, many times it's not that we don't use the muscle, we don't use it as we used to. And that there's this saying that if you don't use it, you lose it, which is true. According to Dr. Echoes, the research findings stating several specific benefits jump training offers for the hip and the spine, as well as for balance. And we know as we get older, once we are not doing certain type of contact exercises, our bones become weaker. There are, as Dale was saying, her bones can't handle that. But how we always say it, we start low and slow. You're not gonna start jumping high overall and things like that. You start with very, very low and exercises to get that blood flow back into that area more readily until your body can go at a more a more stringent pace, right? So, but also know that this type of exercise is not without its risk and maybe not appropriate for everyone. However, certain type of exercises that causes impact to the bone would help a lot of women with who suffer from knee pain, hip pain, back pain as we get older and we're not using the bones as we're supposed to. Bone density is optimized with also weight-bearing activities. So we can also implement weight training as well, and which is vital in this stage in our life. Certain things that many of us put off. I don't have the time for this and that. No, it is not a want, it is a need. Our body needs these type of weight-bearing exercises and activity during the menopause stage, because mechanical loading stimulates bone formation. So jump training specifically targets the hip and the spine. Both are subject to demineralization with age and with low estrogen during menopause. Jump training for appropriate individuals. So everybody will not be at the same level in terms of weakening bones. If you're a type of person who've been active over the years, compared to someone who was not active, they was not, their lifestyle was more sedentary, they would be at a different level. So one cap doesn't fit all, but the fact of the matter is the bones need to get the exercises to bring them up to a certain level so that they would be able to do the work to carry you and to make you active and not dependent on anybody to do basic to do your basic need, to meet your basic needs in life. So it also improves balance. It also reduces falls when we do jump training, and the risks. And with the falls, there is an increased risk of fracture as a result of that. So I want to give you some menopause fitness tips here. So if you're thinking about giving jump training a try, which I am going to try because I too was diagnosed with arthritis recently, and I am looking into this. And once I find something that can benefit everyone, I will pass it on to everyone, right? So here's what experts say you should consider before diving into a new routine. Just as I was telling Dale earlier on, start low and start slow. So after clearance from your healthcare provider, it is important, for me to encourage everyone to start slowly when incorporating jump training to your daily routine. I want to suggest consulting a physical trainer or a professional to help you to get started safely. So don't go starting this on your own and saying, all right, I could watch a few videos. I think I will be able to do this thing, right? Get a trainer to start you, get you into the groove of things until, you can start or your bones are moving the way they're supposed to. And, because they don't want to cause injury. So we know at this stage in life, we've invested so much onto our family, our relatives, our children, and we've left out ourselves so much that we reach a stage now when our body is saying, come, time for me now. It's time that you really give me the care that I really deserve to get. And in early and truly, our body needs it at this time. So put a little more emphasis on yourself and on the general well-being, because it will eventually pay off in the long run when we put things in place at this time. So ensure You spend an adequate amount of time warming up and stretching prior to each workout. And don't forget to cool down afterwards. Hence the reason why you need to deal with somebody who knows about proper stretching and workout routines and how you cool down after the routine, because you do not want to injure yourself. Now, if you're brand new to exercise, consider starting with just 5 to 10 minutes and try to increase how much you do by a few minutes each session. So you're not going to push yourself too hard, Dale. You're starting very little bit, very slow, very slow, so you would not shock your system. Not only will starting slow help your body to build resilience, it may also lower your risk of being injured as well. So starting slowly with lower intensity jump sessions and progressing gradually will help avoid injury. It's also important to explore new exercises under the supervision of a trained, certified professional trainer. So, best jump training exercises for menopause. And you all could also go do your own research as well and see some of the best exercises for menopause. So I'm going to give you some. Not sure where to start in terms of jump training? Working with a trusted healthcare provider, trainer, or a physical therapist, consider the following popular jump training exercise. For those of us who can't do jump ropes, there are those of us who can. So you can start with jump rope, those of us who could raise our knees and actually do some jumping. At this stage, up to last year, I could have done jump rope. Right now, my jump rope, if I could do 1 or 2 now, that is plenty for me without extreme pain. So I will not start at the jump rope level. You also have what they call forward hops, right? You're standing and you're just making small hops ahead. Forward hops, right? And that impact is what helps that impact is what helps the bones. Also, there are what we call side jumps. Side jumps, also jumping from one side to the next, not high, not raising up your knees too high, but jumping side to side. You call them side jumps. As well as the trampoline is very good as well. And I want to come and do a session along with you all with that trampoline as well. It has become a very popular trend on social media. And why? Because of that bouncing aspect of the trampoline, it helps you not to feel the full impact when you're landing as well. So it has become one of the popular go-to exercises for women and men also who have issues with their knees. Then we have what you call squatting and jumping. You call them squat jumps. Squat and then jump, right? Then you have what we call the knees up. Bending the knees, raising it up, putting it down. And some of that can even done in a sitting position as well. Burpees, to me, are for those of you all who know what a burpee looks like. Burpees are for those whose knees are much stronger and they can go down and get up and go up like that, right? So those are not the ones to start with for people who have extreme bone issues, knee issues. They have the clapping push-ups again, that is for advanced. You have box jumps, and the box jumps are not bad because you can start with jumping on the box at a lower height until you graduate until higher height. So box jumps are not necessarily bad, but you have to start low, very low, until you graduate to a higher jump until you reach the desired height. Stair hops is another one that you can do, and that is something you can do right in your home. Stair hops, jumping up from on one stair to the other. Another exercise that they didn't talk about here is walking backwards. Walking backwards actually brings blood flow to the knees. Very, very good. The walking backwards is a practice. It's very low impact on the knees, and it strengthens the knees very well. So these are some of the exercises we can do. Again, you have to talk to your healthcare provider before jump training during menopause. It is important to incorporate new exercises to your routine with a healthcare provider first, especially if you have pre-existing conditions like heart conditions or past or current injuries. So hence the reason why I said you're doing it with under the consultation and guidance of a professional, or if you have other underlying health conditions. Now, as with any new activity, clinical evaluation is suggested for perimenopausal women who are considering jump training. Now, those with osteoporosis, those who have fractures, those who have impaired mobility, probably from an old injury or so, or other active medical issues, may not be a candidate for jump training. So guidance and supervision here is extremely important. Or for those who can afford a physical therapist, it is important that we try some of these exercises with that guidance. Now, this topic is not one of our longer topics because it is really straightforward, right? And I just want to know if anyone here has started any form of training for strengthening your knees. Anyone started that as yet? Or incorporated it, any type of training to strengthen your knees and your hips? Anybody? I'm not seeing anybody, no hands going up, nobody talking to me. So that I think that would tell me that's a no.
Maria, just to interrupt.
Yes.
Well, the beginning of, well, let's say about 3 weeks ago, I decided, well, I did a detox and so forth, and I started back exercising slow, doing a
Mhm.
2 mile walk in front of my TV with the trainer. You'd have leg lifts and hand lifts in
Right,
between, right? And I did some jump rope, and I went on the rebound. I have a rebounder there. And then
right.
I gradually went to do light weights. I have some weights, light ones, pull down
Yes,
for the arms and for the legs. But you
right.
know what? A week after, I was in so much pain. My I developed tendonitis. I don't know if it's from that, but it just came on. Tendonitis and then my knee pain. I was in pain at rest and trying to move the leg. And they did an X-ray, and they said
Mm-hmm.
it looks like arthritis there. But the
Okay,
doctor wants to check the ESR to see if it's some systemic, see if it's an autoimmune thing. So this
okay.
menopause doing a lot
Hmm.
of stuff. So I don't know if I go in or come in with exercise or not.
Exercise is so vital. I'm already sorry to hear that. I think and I understand quite well because I am going through my phases with this bone pain as well and this osteoarthritis. So um with the guidance of your doctor, and as I said, you're getting as things get better, um you should invest in that type of training as well as things get better in terms of your progress and you know actually what you're dealing with. Uh and that would be able what I think with you hadn't exercised for a while and you went and exercised. How often did you go and jump and do all that walking? Did you do all of that in 1 week or did you exercise every day? Or did you take a break in between or you just went fit?
I think I just went fit,
That is
but I
why.
was feeling so good, you know.
Why? That is what I was saying initially. You go low, slow, we feel like, sometimes we could move mountains, in our brain. And then physically, the body say, hey, you need to slow down your pace a little bit. And you started probably doing too much too quickly. And the lactic acid built up in your system. And then, it's like a shocker you gave your system too much too quickly. And that, I believe, caused those extra pain in your system. Right? So go to your doctor, do what you have to do. Don't let that discourage you from going back and starting again, but starting low and slow. Probably you're doing it for 10 minutes. You're taking a 2 days break, right? Or you do a rest day or two between, and then you go again. But not too much. Too much too quickly could cause actual injury, right? So we have to do it under guidance, and you have to do it low and slow, right? Because and when you go on social media, there's so much information, but there are risk involved when we go too fast, when we want to start a new program, right? And that's for everybody here who is exercising. I know Michelle is exercising for sure. I know Cynthia exercises regularly. I know Miss Eli exercises, and a lot of you all ladies as well. You all exercise, but you have to know, if you're not in it for a while, you can't go crazy, right? Because it can cause injury. So really and truly, this jump exercising is really, really good, but it starts low and slow. So what I could probably do in one of our next sessions, I can show you all some exercises that we can use under at home, very very light, mild, nothing too gymnasticy, as I would call it, and you can start low and slow, right? And not too much, a little 10 minutes in the morning time or in the evening, or that time when you have, put aside that time, and we move on from there on a week-to-week basis. You could just have it just one exercise, simple, and then every week I could show you something different. You try it low and slow, and so that you would not put yourself in unnecessary pain or injury. Fair enough?
Yes,
Right?
Maria.
Because Miss Eli, good night.
Yes, I ain't able with that jumping thing. I tried to do that already,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up with a headache. I don't know if I was trying to jump too high or what.
I guess
So
so.
I think I think I would stay with my walking. I live in a undulating area where you go up down the roads, right? So I don't want to put too much pressure on my right knee because it pains a little. So I walk backward when I
You're
have
walking.
to.
Well, that is
Yes,
what I'm saying. Backward
I
walking,
do the backward walk. Yeah.
very good. So you're going up on a hill, right?
Yeah.
Simple. Very simple. You're going up the hill, you walk forward, right? Usually we walk forward, you just turn around and you turn and walk
Yeah.
back
Walk
ever so
backwards. Yeah.
often. Yeah, that is plyometric, simple as that is. So you're
Yeah.
not jumping, but you're doing some plyometrics. They're simple as that, Miss Song. Right? And do you feel extreme discomfort when you do that?
This come
The walking
the
backward.
walk. Yes, it helps. It
That's what I'm
reduces the
saying.
pressure. It reduces the pressure on my knee.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So you're accustomed walking backwards on a flat surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what
And
you could do, challenge
when
yourself a
I'm
little bit now, walk backwards a little bit going up the hill.
going up the hill, yeah.
Yeah. Not for long period, probably about a minute, and then you turn around again, and then you walk normal for a while, and then another minute again, you turn around and you walk backward. That is how you break yourself in for, or even 30 seconds, and you break yourself into that. That is knee exercise, just simple as that song in there. So you're bringing blood flow to that area there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not about that. That is it's not plyometrics is not about just jumping alone. It is about do simple exercises like that. What about just standing and just moving side to side. That again is plyometrics. You're standing and you're walking to the side, coming back to the middle, walking to the side, coming back. That again is simple. And I can't see any way that could cause any injury, very easy, very slow to start with, backward walking and side to side. And I'm sure all of us can do that very easy, right home in our living room, right? And so these are important. Why I'm emphasizing this, the studies have shown that you do these continuously for a 12-week period and it builds the bone density, right? It builds it up, and they've tried it on a number of women going through perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And at the end of that 12 weeks, it was shown that the bone density in all of these women increased a lot, right? Just 12 weeks. And those are women who had problems with arthritis, right? And who had knee injuries, because if you just leave that and say, all right, I'm in pain, I don't want to do anything, it will just get worse. It will just get worse. So you have to give it bring some blood flow to that area, ladies. Simple backward walking and just walking, doing some side movements. Simple. We can, so you can try that home, a little 10 minutes, a few times for the week. There is a two, you could probably try it for two times for the week. And that's it. And you start off walking, not too much stress on the knees and the hips, and you would see how much of a difference the small movements make. You hear the old people that always say drop by drop that fill the bucket. You're not going hard like to cause any injury, Dale. You're going low and you're going slow. Right? So we can all start like that. I've started already, and actually what I do a lot of squatting, right? Squats to build the hip and to the knee. I do squatting and I do a lot of backward walking as well. So I find that is very, very helpful, right? So you go at your own pace when you go walking, don't go at anybody else's pace. And you can start with that low, slow movement. And as time goes by, we could actually, Dr. Khan could come on and show different exercises to help with that, ladies. Anybody else has any more experiences in terms of exercising and doing plyometrics? Anybody else? All right. So what I would like to say too is that the supplement that the UMI, I'm getting a lot of good report, as I know I would, right? It is a lot of good report. It helps with a lot of discomfort, because what the people who bring in the products, they say they don't want it to say don't use the word pain. They say use discomfort, as it helps, because it's not medication, but it helps with discomfort. My mother-in-law started it over the weekend, and one or two other people, and it, in terms of giving you energy and dealing with pain as well as other things, the result, the feedback is 150% positive. So I just want you all to know that it is Michelle, good night. I know Michelle started hers as well. And I would like to get some feedback. We could always talk afterwards. How it's going with you. And I know one of my ladies using it, and her mom is using it as well. So I know she has a little challenge with that, because the mom is helping mommy as well, right? So, and we all need that extra push, and as we are getting younger, so that is another way. Supplementing is another way we can strengthen our system as well, right? So if we don't have any other experiences or questions, I would end the session for tonight, and we would deal with something, something else that we need to improve our lives for the next session. And if you all, what I always say too, I'm an open book. Any topic that you all think you want us to deal with, you could leave it in the chat, and we will do some research and get back to you with a particular topic. Anybody could put in a request, and we will deal with that particular topic as well. Okay, ladies?
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
Should a bone density test be done before we do this jump training?
Yes, I agree. Yes. And why I said that too, because remember earlier on in the presentation, I was saying, go check your healthcare provider, because sometimes you don't think, say you're thinking everything is all right. And you see what went on with Dale. She started it on her own, which is, I mean, starting something on your own is not bad, but she went full throttle. And then she realized that she had some, when she went to the doctor, because of the impact of her exercising, what happened. So yes, I think it's good to know where you're standing as we are going through menopause in terms of your bone density. Invest in doing a bone density test so that you know what you're working with, right? And you know you get the guidance necessary before you start the plyometric. So that is something, as a good question, and thanks for bringing it up again, Miss Eli. A bone density test would let you know how strong or weak your bones are before you get into this type of activity. Ladies, so it is
Thank you.
yes, you're welcome. So it's something we need to check out. It's not just for because you want to try something new, but for your general well-being, and so you know how your body is actually working, what your body is dealing with before you start any type of exercise. Full stop. Right? So yes. Any other question, ladies? But I want to say one thing before I leave. You know, we are in on this journey together, and anything that could make our lives better as we go on, because remember, we are active people, we have our families to see about, we have our own goals to meet, and we want to do it with the least amount of pain and discomfort as possible. So I would like us to make sure, on a general basis, to keep up with our checkups and to make sure that everything is in order, so that we can, nothing wouldn't come to us as a surprise. You would know what you're dealing with, and you can move forward in a positive way, right? So ladies, again, until next week, Tuesday, God's willing, again, put your comments in the chat so that anything that you would like us to speak about or chat about, anything that may be concerning you, we could always do a topic on that particular issue as well. Because all of us, the issues will not be the same, because we are not the same people. Our makeup is not the same, or challenges physically, emotionally, and otherwise is not the same. So any topic that you think maybe you would like us to discuss, leave it in the chat, and or even WhatsApp me, and we could deal with that particular topic, which could benefit everybody. You're welcome, Michelle. You're welcome.
Okay.
So, ladies, thanks again for coming, and you're welcome, ladies. Thanks again for coming. And any questions, as I said, any topic you want to deal with, leave it